I remember the September morning during my first semester of college when I set out to find the local UU congregation. One of my dorm mates was eager to join me, so I invited her along after checking to make sure she knew what she was getting herself into. Or so I thought. As it turned out, she walked into that venerable old New England sanctuary, took out her prayer book, knelt in a pew, and began to pray. Oops, I thought. Wrong church. You see, I'm a lifelong UU raised by atheist parents in a UU congregation with an atheist minister. While prayer may be second nature to some of you, prayer was not in my childhood vocabulary. No grace at the dinner table, no bedtime prayers, no prayers during church services, and certainly nothing about prayer in Sunday school. This was pretty typical for Unitarian Universalism in the 60s and 70s. We joked that if UUs prayed at all, we prayed to who it may concern. As a kid, I occasionally prayed for help when things got bad, figuring it couldn't hurt. But once I rejected the omnipotent, judging, favor-bestowing, wise old man in the sky God, what was the point of praying? Meanwhile, public prayer showed up at community events like Memorial Day and high school graduations. The words never spoke to me, and I found the practice offensive. Other people imposing their religious beliefs on a captive audience. Prayer was one of those words that made me squirm. And someone praying for me? No, thank you. What if they wanted something for me that I don't want for myself? I was a strident, righteous, anti-prayer UU. You can guess where this is going, right? One of the gifts of Unitarian Universalism is the opportunity, the encouragement to grow and learn, to explore unfamiliar beliefs and practices, to change our minds. Cosmic joke is that these days I pray regularly. Daily, at minimum. I pray alone. I pray with and for others. I pray in ways I couldn't have imagined 40 years ago, ways that don't require belief in a deity. And prayer has transformed my life. How did that happen? In the usual way of spiritual growth, by fits and starts, dead ends, and unexpected openings. It all started 25 years ago. I was in the midst of too many crises, and a UU minister suggested that I pray about them. Pray? Me? What a ridiculous idea. A few months later, another UU minister suggested prayer. This time, I got curious and asked the question, how? I don't know how to pray. What would I do? You can probably guess the answer. Almost any other religion would at least have some recommendations for this fundamental spiritual practice. And now we do. The UU response back then, I can't tell you what to do. You have to find your own way. Great. As if the how-tos weren't enough, my brain kicked in, asking, and who would I be praying to? If I don't believe in a God that grants wishes or favors, then what would I be doing? This internal conversation went on for quite a while. Every so often, I'd get a glimmer. I'd sing a song that felt like a prayer, or dance what felt like a prayer, or paint what felt like a prayer. But these instances were few and far between, and didn't quite seem like what my ministers were recommending. 2 long years later, alone in the redwoods, I was amazed when a prayer of thanksgiving gushed forth simultaneously. It began with gratitude for that moment, the beauty, the calm, the majesty of the trees. Thank you, I said aloud. Then I found myself thanking all the people who'd helped me get to that moment. This was impossible, of course. I couldn't remember all their names. I didn't know all their names. I hadn't even seen all their faces or known how their deeds influenced my life. Still, I prayed for a long time, remembering what I could, experiencing the act of praying as healing, heart-opening, deeply connective, and life-affirming. Several months later, I participated, somewhat hesitantly, in a week-long Quaker retreat in which we experimented with different forms of prayer. We wrote prayers, sang prayers, painted prayers, and danced prayers. We prayed in silence and in words. We laid on hands. We were encouraged to put aside belief, to just try it, even if you don't believe it. See how it feels. Six months after that, something shifted in me, and it became clear that I needed to start a daily prayer practice, even if I didn't know how. So I sat down, took some deep breaths, and said aloud something like this: I really don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need to do this. And little by little, a fledgling prayer practice emerged. At first, I tried praying, I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, the words you heard earlier. I prayed those words day after day, whether there was a true blue sky or torrents of rain, whether I felt thankful or not. This prayer was particularly challenging on September 11th, 2001. I think I said something like, it's really hard to thank you for most this amazing day, though I am thankful for the true blue sky and the leaping greenly spirits of trees and the blessed sense of community I found at the farmer's market this afternoon. Gradually, I left E.E. Cummings behind and started saying my own gratitudes each evening. I gave thanks for the little things, the unexpected parking space, the last loaf of bread, the rain holding off till I returned from my walk. And I gave thanks for bigger things. The phone call from a long-lost friend, the joy of singing with people, the opportunity to be of service. After the gratitudes, my words varied. Please give me the strength to make it through this challenging day. Please keep my heart open during this painful confrontation. Help. I can't do this alone. Please help me through this challenging time. Who or what was I talking to? The honest answer, I don't know. I believe that there's something beyond our comprehension, a force or energy or spirit of love and wisdom that we can tap into. I believe that we humans use metaphors to make spirit less abstract, that a heavenly parent or teacher can be easier to talk to than an invisible force or energy. I also know those images don't work for me, so I attempt to address the unknowable, the great mystery within and around and within us. Maybe I'm talking to the universe. Maybe I'm talking to myself. If so, I believe that I'm talking to my deeper self, my wiser self. This experience of daily prayer has transformed my life. I found that taking some time each day to express gratitudes and name intentions helps to ground me. Acknowledging my limitations and appealing to Spirit for assistance helps me feel less alone, more grounded. It's not that I'm letting go of responsibility to do my part. If anything, stating my intention increases my commitment. I do what I can, and I trust in a larger truth than I can comprehend. Daily prayer helps me let myself be human, rather than feeling like I need to be superhuman and save the world single-handedly. Over time, this nightly prayer practice started seeping into the rest of my day. I found myself uttering gratitudes when they happen. Thank you for that car not hitting mine. Thank you for my remembering to make that phone call. Sometimes I take a moment to pray silently before going into a meeting. Please, may we speak our truths with love. May we listen with open hearts and minds. May we remember the higher purpose that brings us together. The few seconds it takes to pray these words help center and focus me. We can also do this together in UU meetings, taking a moment to light a chalice, read our covenant, state our intentions, or simply take a few breaths together. When I became a hospital chaplain, my prayer practice expanded again. Every morning I pray, may I be what's needed. May I be of service. May I be a blessing. These simple words remind me of my deepest intentions. They help me to open my heart. And then I enter the hospital and my prayers go public. I'm the chaplain, after all, and folks from praying religions, or folks who simply believe in the power of a chaplain's prayer, expect me to pray with them. This has been the most challenging aspect of my chaplaincy. I want to be of service, and I want to pray with integrity, despite theological differences. I also don't want to set God up for failure by praying for an outcome that seems medically improbable. When I started chaplainting, I tried to get the patients and families to do the talking. Not only did this get me off the hook, I learned a lot. I was astonished at how often someone whose life was falling apart offered prayers of gratitude rather than petition. In the midst of crisis, there was still something to be grateful for. I was touched when patients prayed for doctors and nurses, for the other patients in the hospital. I was humbled when they prayed for me. When I finally got up the courage to lead prayer, I took inspiration from these examples. I usually began with gratitude for our lives, for our time together, for all that had gone well. I name what's on people's hearts. I pray that the medical staff do their very best, that patients and families feel held in love, that they find what they need, be it strength, courage, clarity, or something else. My prayers convey love and caring, letting folks know that I've heard their concerns and that I wish them well. I've grown to cherish these moments of creating sacred space in a hospital room simply by joining hands, closing our eyes, slowing down, and speaking our hopes and fears. I've learned that praying together can be intimate and connective. So why pray? We each answer this question differently at different times. Some folks pray with the hope or expectation that their prayers will be answered in a specific way. Some folks pray because they think they should. Some folks pray because they have to, because prayers come unbidden from their hearts. And some folks pray, hoping their prayers will make a difference somehow. Me, I pray because prayer enriches my life. I pray to focus on life's blessings. I pray to speak aloud my deepest yearnings and intentions. I pray to acknowledge what I can't do alone. I pray to remind myself of what's most important. I pray to open my heart to others. What about you? Does prayer play a role in your life? Might it? There's only one way to find out. And there's so very many ways to pray. I leave you with the words of UU minister Eric Walker Wickstrom. His book, Simply Pray, is his attempt to persuade UUs to get out of our heads. Stop reading, stop analyzing, and give prayer a try. Wickstrom writes, if you long to connect with the sacred, simply pray. Pray without any preconceived notions of what you're doing and why. Simply do it and see what happens. And I would add, if you're feeling awkward and uncertain about praying, humor helps. To whom it may concern isn't a bad starting point.